You ever look back at a moment and realize the person you loved never actually saw you? That's the gut punch of it all. Not just the betrayal, not just the humiliation, but the realization that someone shared your bed, your dreams, your fears, and never actually saw you. That's what happened when my girlfriend of 4 years left me for my best friend. She thought she was trading up, thought she was chasing status. What she didn't know, I was already 10 steps ahead of both of them, and raking in more than $500,000 a year, quietly, deliberately. And when it was time, I let that truth explode like a bomb. Let me start from the beginning. We'll call her Amanda. We met in college. She was sharp, beautiful, driven, one of those women who made every room feel like it was hers. The second she walked in, I was a bit more reserved. Tech nerd, quiet, always hustling, always planning. We were opposites, but it worked. At least it did, for a while. I graduated early and went deep into the world of cybersecurity consulting. Meanwhile, she bounced from marketing jobs to freelance gigs, trying to find her passion. I never minded. I paid most of the bills, encouraged her to explore. I figured that's what you do when you love someone. What Amanda didn't know was that while she thought I was just some freelance IT guy with a few clients, I had quietly landed contracts with 3 major firms in the crypto and defense space. Between consulting fees, back-end royalties, and equity, I was pulling in nearly $500,000 a year. I kept it quiet, purposefully. We lived modestly, drove an old Camry, took simple vacations. I never flashed cash. I wanted to build quietly, invest deeply, and secure our future. I thought she'd appreciate the delayed gratification. Turns out she just thought I was broke. My best friend, let's call him Ryan, was the opposite of quiet. Flashy cars, fake watches, rented Airbnbs for his Instagram brand. On the surface, he looked successful. In reality, he was in debt up to his neck. But Amanda didn't care. She saw the flash, not the substance. I started noticing the signs about 6 months before it all came crashing down. Little things, inside jokes I wasn't part of, random nights out she didn't tell me about, passive-aggressive digs about how Ryan really knew how to hustle. I played dumb, but I was watching, taking mental notes, and quietly backing up every text, every call, every location, ping from her phone to my cloud server. The night she left me wasn't dramatic. She just sat me down, said she felt we'd grown apart and that she had feelings for someone else. I didn't react, didn't even blink. I just asked, "Is it Ryan?" Her eyes widened like I'd slapped her. She stuttered through a denial, then pivoted to justification. "You're just too comfortable," she said. "You don't have any real ambition." That was the moment I knew she never saw me, not the real me. Just the quiet version I allowed her to see. The mask I wore so I could focus, so I could build without noise, and now she was choosing style over substance. Fine by me. She moved out that weekend, moved in with Ryan 2 weeks later. I didn't say a word, didn't post anything, didn't block her. I just vanished from her world. Meanwhile, I closed 3 more contracts, maxed out my 401k, bought into a startup pre-seed round, and quietly purchased a penthouse in a different city, cash. While they were posting photos at rooftop bars, I was locking in 6-figure monthly payouts and sipping whiskey on a balcony overlooking the skyline. Still no flash, no gloating, just focused silence. But I always knew the time would come when they'd learn the truth. And when it did, it would be loud. I got my chance 3 months later. A mutual friend, one who knew the real story, invited me to a birthday party, said Amanda and Ryan would be there. I said sure, showed up in a tailored suit, drove the modest car still, but wore a watch they wouldn't recognize, one worth more than their apartment's rent for the year. I mingled, kept it casual, polite. When Amanda saw me, her jaw actually dropped. She tried to act cool. Ryan gave me that fake bro nod. I just smiled, asked about their latest projects. They gave vague answers. I just listened. Later in the night, Amanda cornered me, asked how I was doing. I told her things were good, real good. Mentioned I had just gotten back from Tokyo, business trip. She laughed like I was lying. Business trip? Since when do you have business in Japan? I smiled and said, oh, just some cyber infrastructure work for a defense contractor. Nothing too flashy. Her smile cracked. Ryan asked, wait, what do you do now exactly? I pulled out my phone, opened my portfolio dashboard, and let the numbers do the talking. The color drained from both their faces. That moment, that exact moment, was worth every second of silence. Every night I spent building while she called me lazy. Every weekend I stayed home while she flirted at bars. The best revenge wasn't a snarky comeback. It wasn't screaming or begging or trying to win her back. It was becoming undeniable and watching her realize, too late, that she left a millionaire for a fraud with a Gucci belt on a credit card. They didn't know what to say. Amanda tried to recover, stammering out a half laugh like it was all a joke. "Well, I guess you've been busy," she said, eyes darting around, not meeting mine. Ryan, on the other hand, suddenly had a whole lot less swagger in his posture. His fake bravado dropped. It was like watching a balloon deflate in real time. I kept my cool. I wasn't there to gloat, just to be seen. And for the first time in a long time, they actually saw me. Not the version of me they thought they knew. The real one. The builder. The silent operator. The man they underestimated. After that party, things got interesting. Amanda texted me the next morning, said she owed me an apology, that she didn't realize how much pressure I was under, that she missed the version of us that used to dream together. I didn't reply. I didn't need to, because her messages weren't really for me. They were for the guilt, eating her alive now that she realized she'd thrown away something real for something hollow. And Ryan? He tried playing nice too. Sent me a DM saying, "No hard feelings, bro, you're killing it." I left him on read. That silence? That's how men like me speak the loudest. Meanwhile, I kept building, bought rental properties, diversified into AI projects, started mentoring younger coders through private groups, pulling in equity just for showing up to a few Zoom calls. My life was calm, calculated, quiet, no drama, no chaos, no Amanda. And let me tell you, peace after betrayal is the most intoxicating feeling in the world. It's not about revenge anymore. It's about realizing how free you are when you stop chasing validation from people who never valued you in the first place. But karma has a funny way of tying things together. A few weeks after Amanda's text stopped, I got a message from our mutual friend, the one who hosted the party. She asked if I'd heard the news. I hadn't, so she filled me in. Ryan had been caught cheating multiple times. Amanda found messages on his phone, nudes, hotel receipts, the whole cliche. She confronted him, and apparently he laughed in her face, told her, "You knew what I was like. You just didn't care when it wasn't you being cheated on." Brutal, but poetic. She tried to move back into the old apartment, the one I had moved out of after she left, but I had already sold it. Bought the entire building actually, quietly, through a holding company. She didn't know that part, so when she called the landlord trying to negotiate the lease back, she was told the property had changed hands, and just for the hell of it, I made sure the rent went up 40%. A business decision, of course. Nothing personal. People say success is the best revenge. I don't entirely agree. Clarity is realizing you were never the problem, realizing you didn't need to change or beg or compete. You just needed time and space to become who you were always meant to be. And then, watching the people who hurt you realize they were never in your league to begin with. That's not revenge, that's justice. And I tasted it every time I woke up, without stress, without lies, without wondering where Amanda was late at night. Months passed. I heard she moved back in with her mom, that her freelance projects dried up, that Ryan had torched whatever reputation he had left and was trying to become a crypto guru on TikTok. It would be funny if it weren't so predictable. Meanwhile, I was building a small team, launching a private SaaS platform, and consulting with a few government agencies on data encryption protocols. Every day I woke up with purpose. Every night I went to bed with peace. I didn't need to prove anything anymore. I already had. The last time I saw Amanda was at a coffee shop downtown. Total coincidence. She looked tired, worn. She gave me this soft, fragile smile like she didn't know whether to say hello or cry. I nodded politely, took my coffee, and walked away. That's all. No speech, no bitterness, just calm. She didn't follow, didn't call out my name. She knew. In that moment, she knew everything she needed to know, and so did I. She didn't leave me. She downgraded, and I evolved. After that coffee shop run-in, I didn't think much about Amanda again. She was part of a closed chapter now, one that no longer stung, no longer pulled at my chest late at night. I had processed the betrayal, felt every jagged edge of it, and then I'd outgrown it. But what I hadn't expected was how free I would feel on the other side. Like cutting off an infected limb, painful at first, but necessary. The wound healed, and what remained was something stronger, something smarter. A man reborn from silence and strategy. I started traveling more. Japan turned into Singapore. Singapore turned into Switzerland. I went places I used to dream of, ate food I once thought I couldn't afford, and shook hands with people who didn't care where I came from, only where I was going. I didn't post much, just a few cryptic photos here and there. Enough for anyone who still watched my life from a distance to know I was good, better than good, thriving. But I never mentioned Amanda, never mentioned Ryan, never needed to. But life has a sense of irony. One of Amanda's old friends, someone I always liked, sent me a message. She said Amanda had been asking about me, wondering how I was, wondering if I ever talked about her. I told her friend the truth. I don't talk about ghosts. Maybe harsh, maybe not, but honest, because Amanda had become just that, a memory that drifted through occasionally, but no longer haunted me. That's what real healing feels like. Not forgetting, just not bleeding anymore when you remember. Then something unexpected happened. Ryan reached out again. This time, it wasn't just a DM, it was a long message, rambling, messy, said he was sorry, that he got caught up in the hype, that he'd ruined a lot of relationships, not just mine, said he admired what I'd built and hoped we could grab a beer sometime. I stared at that message for a while, letting the full absurdity of it settle in. The same man who slept with my girlfriend behind my back, who helped shatter something I cherished for years, now wanted to play nice because he finally saw the scoreboard. I didn't respond, of course. Not because I'm angry, but because I don't resurrect the dead. There's no beer strong enough to make me forget who he was when it mattered. No apology long enough to erase the smirk on his face when he thought he'd won. You don't get to betray someone and then circle back when the tide turns. That's not friendship. That's opportunism. And I don't entertain snakes, no matter how politely they hiss. Amanda, from what I hear, has tried dating since, but nothing serious. A few relationships here and there, mostly with men who fizzled out. Her job never took off the way she hoped. The world didn't hand her what she expected, because charm and beauty open doors, but consistency, loyalty, and depth keep them open. And those were traits she undervalued. Traits I had quietly, traits she abandoned, and now she's learning the hard way that the grass isn't greener when it's artificial. Sometimes I imagine what she must think when she sees my name on an article, when she hears from old friends how far I've come. I don't wish her pain, but I hope she feels it. Not the kind of pain that destroys, but the kind that teaches, the kind that lingers long enough to shape you, because that's what she gave me, whether she meant to or not. Her betrayal became my blueprint, her deceit became my discipline, and for that, ironically, I'm grateful. I've since met someone new, quiet, kind, thoughtful. She doesn't care about money or flash, she cares about character, about values. She asks about my day and actually listens. She knows about Amanda, knows the full story, and instead of judging, she simply said, "You deserved better." And for the first time, I believed it, because sometimes you get so used to surviving that you forget you were meant to live. To anyone reading this who's been cheated on, lied to, betrayed by the people closest to you, you are not weak, you are not foolish, you are not broken. You are just surrounded by people too small to recognize your size. Let them leave, let them downgrade, let them rot in the little garden they thought was Eden. And you build, you become undeniable. And when they look back, let the silence scream for you. I never needed revenge, I just needed time. And now, I have peace. And $500,000 a year.